Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying with Jim Misiura. Today I'm going to start a new series, and this is a tribute to Jack Gartside. I spent many hours watching Jack Gartside tie flies for more than 25 years. I stood there in front of him at the shows, and he became quite a good friend at the show. And he gave me photocopies of his book. I was teaching kids to tie flies at the time, and Jack was gracious enough to give me photocopies of the book. So I'm going to tie the flies that are in that book, and this is all credit goes to Jack Gartside. The hook that I have in the vise, this is a Lively Legs lip splitter, number 720, size 14. These are barbless, down eye, 2 extra strong, 1 extra short, nymph hook or wet fly hook. I love the barbless feature. You get the fish in the net and the hook just falls right out. I'm going to use Viva's 16-aught thread, and this is a light olive, but a dark color is fine. I may just use my permanent marker on the end when I tie off the head to turn it black. But we're going to put a base of thread down and come to the back. I'm going to get right to the back there. Now for the body, Jack calls for metallic thread and crystal flash, but this is so small I'm going to leave the crystal flash out. I'm just going to use a green metallic thread. This will represent an olive caddis emerging. Could also represent an olive caddis coming to lay their eggs. Caddis, a lot of caddis actually swim to the bottom of the river and lay their eggs right on the bottom. So we're going to wrap this metallic thread for the body. Make some nice touching turns. And you'll see this fly, it looks like you won't see the body when you actually are done, because it is so fluffy. Because Jack, he didn't waste any kind of feathers. He made use of everything. And you'll see the feathers that I'm using, and I'm sure you'll agree that they would be considered garbage feathers in most cases. What he likes to call the chicken poop feathers. I'm going to go ahead and trim that. Now for the wing, I'm going to use a gray Aftershaft feather from a Pheasant Rump. And the Aftershaft feather is, you have all of these, and then there's a small feather tucked in underneath, which is basically at the bottom of your feather, the feather's shaft. Almost all feathers will have this Aftershaft feather. I'm using this gray one. I like this color. It's a good wing color. You can tie this fly probably from size 10 or 12 all the way down to size 18s. Although those 18s, I really wouldn't want to tie them. It'd be a little difficult, as you'll see. This is a frustrating fly because these feathers are so delicate. I'll be lucky to get away with this without breaking the feather. Now here's the this is the wing, and what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this. Like I said, very delicate, so be very careful. If you're shaky like me, you may just break it. Once, get that around there, twice, and we're going to tie that off. Like I said, Jack didn't waste anything. He made use of everything. And we're going to bring everything more or less to the top, and we're just going to go back maybe one wrap of thread. It was even a little bit too far there. Just kind of pull everything to the top. Over on this side I got a little bit of bulky. I'm just going to pluck them off. This fly is actually pretty durable once it gets wet and once you're using it. Now for the hackle, Jack calls for a Grizzly hackle with long, almost webby, so something like this with those nice long barbels. But what I like is I have a pheasant tail clump, and I like these feathers here. I like the color and the quality of these feathers also. You get some nice long shape barbels on it. And there's the aftershaft feather of this one, but this is a, this is a hunted bird, so they're not exactly the best quality for aftershaft feathers. See, it's kind of ratty there. But we're going to use the tip of this feather. This you would call basically a blood marabou feather right here. I'm going to trim that off. And I think one of the reasons why they call these stems, these really thin stems, blood marabou, is because after you work with them and they break several times, you want to cut yourself. We're going to tie this in by the tip. And I'm going to remove that tip excess. Yep. See what happens. Still have plenty. I'm going to tie that in by the tip. If you can manage to do it, you could have folded that tip back over. Now I'm going to put my hackle pliers on there, my delicate work hackle pliers. And we're just going to give this maybe 2 wraps. I used this fly yesterday and it is a very good producer. Once and twice. Take that hackle plier off. And I'm going to secure that. I'm going to trim the excess. It's going to take my poke and snip. Snip that off. We're going to clean up the head. Got a little piece of fuzz there. Going to give it a quick burn. I'm going to take my Sharpie and turn this thread black. We'll go ahead and wrap that head. Give it a whip finish and a little speck of, put a little bit of head cement on there, And as you can see, you kind of don't see the body, but when it gets wet, these hackles, when they get wet, they're down to like the size of a thread. And you can see the body very nicely. And it works really good, really well. And here we have Jack Gartside's Bubble Emerger. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Please leave comments, questions, suggestions. Please visit my sponsors. And most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.